welcome to the latest episode of the Neighborhood Watch. This is episode 17, and here with me today is our lovely co-host, Dr. K.
The one and only. Thank you, Peter.
And the lovely me, Peter Vinkman. And we're here to talk about a phenomenal movie.
Oh, that's an understatement. You're absolutely right.
And we're finally opening up the can of worms that goes by the Canadian director's name of
David Cronenberg.
Yes. So, so let's just get right into it, man, because there's so much to say. There's so much to talk about here.
We've got to.
We just usually before we record, we talk a lot about the movie.
We do.
And then
yes.
And then we just start hitting record
yep.
as we're halfway through our conversation.
Yes.
This time I was like, there's so much I want to say, but I don't want to say it until we start recording.
Yes.
So
this is going to be your 4-hour-long episode, people.
Yes.
Get ready.
Exactly. So,
get ready. So Scanners, 1981.
1981 to begin with. Okay.
Yes.
1980. So we were, like you were just saying,
yep.
we thought it was in the 70s.
We did.
That this movie came out, but it was actually 81. And Cronenberg had already had a few movies before this.
That's right.
But right off the bat, what I would like to say about this is, this is a low budget Canadian movie.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yes.
But yet,
totally Andy. Yep.
Yet we have one of the best special effects guys in the biz, Dick Smith.
That's right.
Is doing the special effects.
Yep.
And then you got Mcgoohan.
Yes.
Huge superstar from the 60s.
The Gandalf who never was.
The Gandalf who never was, man.
Yeah.
The James Bond who never was.
That's right.
Did I tell you that story?
You did.
Okay.
You did. Tell our audiences if they don't know.
Well, so I love Patrick Mcgoohan, right? Because he was in The Prisoner.
Yep.
And I just probably discovered that show maybe 10 years ago or so. Oh, yes. And you have the Blu-ray copy.
I have your Blu-ray copy.
Which is, it's great.
Yep.
Can't say enough good things about that show.
Yep.
So he's just an incredible presence, so much intensity.
Yeah.
And it's just like an imposing figure,
Yes.
So imposing that there's a quote by Orson Welles that said he's the only actor that has intimidated him.
Yes.
So I mean, if Orson Welles is saying that about
right.
your acting ability, that's pretty
kidding,
amazing, right?
Right. Yep.
But yeah, he was approached to be James Bond before Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Because he at that point he was just like, he was in Danger Man before The Prisoner, which also was a huge hit, and then The Prisoner was a pretty big hit. I think at the time, I think it's over the years it's like this huge cult status.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it was pretty successful at the time too.
Yep.
He was a pretty big star, more so than Sean Connery was.
Right.
But yeah, he was just basically like, I read the script and he makes out with all these women and stuff, and I just as a Catholic I can't really get behind that. I don't want that to be my image that I just sleep around,
Yeah.
He's like, if you can change that, but they're like, but that's James Bond.
That's the point.
That's the character of James Bond. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go and guest star in Murder, She Wrote now. That's the unfortunate thing, And then, maybe I'll be in Scanners in 20 years.
Yes.
But I mean, the guy's incredible. It's really sad that, in some ways you got to respect him because he was really strong about what he believed.
Sure.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I think we were robbed of some really great movies,
Right.
because he turned down Gandalf too. He was just like, I don't get it. I think he even turned down Dumbledore too, if I remember reading right.
Oh man.
Like he was, this guy could have been James Bond, Gandalf, and Dumbledore. But we know him from Scanners.
That's right.
And you know what? In some ways that's good enough.
It is, absolutely. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh man, and what an important role in Scanners too.
Yeah.
He's his character is really
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth is very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what you believe of the other characters, what's Michael Ironside's
Revik.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. When Revik is telling his long lost brother that they are the sons of Dr. Ruth, it kind of starts because really at that point you're like, maybe he's lying.
Yeah.
But then we kind of see those times where Ruth is a little bit nutty and kind of like he's trying to cash in. He's trying to force himself to be able to scan.
Yes.
But he can't because he's so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And then you find out that he actually made the serum, right? And that creates the scanners.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like he's a little bit crazed by having created scanners and the entire thing on accident, as it were, but he himself doesn't have that power. Right?
Yeah. He's so it's this weird thing, right?
I thought that was really cool, and you know, I usually take things in a story like that a little bit face value, for right or wrong, but I do think that Revik is trying to get his brother to, you know, to like, hey man, you gotta join forces with me, because then at the end, which is, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the end kind of like makes you wonder, like, oh yeah, is that really Revik, or is that what's the main name?
Cameron Vale.
Vale, right?
Yep.
Or is it like this conglomerate? Is it the Vale
Hive?
Right. Yes, the hive mind. Yeah, I love it. It's killer. Yeah. It's so Cronenberg too. It's like, I'm actually going to tell you what happens. You decide.
Right.
That's good. Which we were talking earlier, not about movies, but about the importance of that in storytelling.
Yes. Exactly. Because again, you know for a fact, Cronenberg himself knows.
Yeah, right. Saying, that's right. Yeah.
It just may not come across completely.
Right.
And he kind of likes that. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his approach and his style. I mean, it's just, I don't know what it is. Yeah. But every single Cronenberg movie has his stamp on it.
Oh, all over it. Yeah.
And it's not,
which is great. Yeah.
You know what? I think it's got to be tied to the standout thing, which I know both of us agreed on this when we were watching it. The standout thing in this movie is the freaking sound design.
Oh yeah,
the sound design is unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, it's everything. That's the whole tone of the movie is the sound
You're absolutely
design.
right. Yeah.
And so I think he gets so much atmosphere and so much just a feeling from that sound design.
Yeah.
The long notes that are just drawn out forever, that almost buzz in your ears and stuff. You know, he just does all that stuff over and over. And I mean, he's great. I mean, Videodrome is full of that stuff too. You know, Just this unsettling noises all the time, where you're just like, and it verges into the score, so that the music is also part of the sound design, and it's atmosphere.
Oh, totally, and it's so great too, because we, you know, I'm guilty of this. And I think the bigger conversation is guilty of this, is that we don't, as movie goers, I don't think put enough emphasis on the importance of sound design. Yeah. And I know I'm guilty. I tend to forget, when I talk about special effects, I don't usually talk about sound. Yeah. And this movie is the perfect example of how important, when you've got no budget, you're an independent film, you're shooting in Canada, right? Yeah. How are you going to be able to convey the feelings that you want to convey? Yeah. And it's easy to say, oh, well, you're just more special effect, more, you know, this is a horror movie and it's got a sci-fi premise. You know, we're going to have more blood, more guts, more veins, more inside-out eyeballs and all that stuff. Yeah. But the thing is, the importance of the sound design to get you to believe in that stuff, that's how you get there, right?
Yep. And you're right. And it makes a smaller movie feel so much bigger too, right? It's just it's amazing.
I mean, there are easy ones. Jaws is like one of the perfect examples of not even sound design so much, but of giving your characters a voice within the score. Yeah. Right. Jaws has his own voice. He's got that's one of the you know, that
for sure.
He's the bass, but
so that he can be there even when he's not.
Even when he's not there, exactly. Right. So you're thinking of him because you hear him.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that there's that Cronenberg feeling, and it's just a feeling, you know, because because visually I think visually Cronenberg is not particularly unique or strong in a sense of, like, you know, I never watch his movies and be like, oh my god, that angle was amazing, or that was so interesting, the way he chose to film that or anything. I think the way he films a scene and the way he films action and everything is pretty conventional, actually. You know, it's pretty clear and straightforward, and which thankfully he does that, because his stories and his characters are so tangled and weird. You know,
exactly. I know exactly what you mean. He doesn't have that.
He's not like a Ridley Scott
or Carpenter is what I was thinking. You instantly Carpenter has, like, you're in the Carpenter world now, right?
Visual flair.
But no, Cronenberg. Yeah, much. It seems like I think you're right. I hadn't thought about that before, but
it's not
that just kind of different approach.
Apart from the just like Naked Lunch and stuff. Where, Where you get you as you watch more and more Cronenberg movies, you realize like this is a man that's really interested in what the inside of a body looks like.
Yes. Yep.
He's really interested in guts. And how things work scientifically, organs and tendons and
So my favorite part, Pete, last night watching the film with you is when we're first introduced to our main villain, right? And we obviously know. I mean, it's him, right?
It's Michael Ironside.
Yes. So, but we don't know exactly what the motive is yet, right? And so he gets called. His character gets called up onto the panel, and it's like, oh, I'm going to show you how. A scanner can read your mind, and this guy who is apparently a scanner is going to show this panel how he's able to read the mind of a non-scanner, but actually Revik is like the penultimate scanner, and he explodes the guy's head.
He's freaking Darth Vader, man. Yeah.
And it's great because you see that character is like, first he starts like, okay, I need you just to think of an object, and he's all in control, right? Mm-hmm. But rapidly he starts losing control, and you see Revik go from playing the part of a dummy to smiling to being totally what you imagine Darth Vader's face doing underneath the mask. Right. And then it cuts to that guy's head just pow!
And he's just panicking at that point. He's just trying to get out of it. And, I mean... Probably
so good.
One of the greatest head explosions of all time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's funny because it is a cutaway, right? It's not like we don't sit there and watch his head explode. But the way that is cut together, because
beautiful.
Michael Ironside's face is so awesome when you're watching him.
Oh yeah.
But then when they cut back and it's just like pow, you're instantly convinced, and everyone's screaming. Oh my God.
Yep. And then I just leave
But you were like, here it comes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can't deny that scene. Man.
Oh no, it's absolutely not.
It's so great.
Yep.
And pure Cronenberg.
Oh yeah.
If we're talking visual cues and Cronenberg films, like that's something he would do.
Yep. And it's great too because it establishes the rules. Like how does what we don't even know hardly what scanning is at that point or anything else, but we know. Oh, okay, this guy can use the Force to blow your brains apart.
Right.
Okay, go.
Which now that we know that it's 1981, at first I was thinking 79, so I was like, this is right after Star Wars,
right?
But he had to have. I mean, part of me feels like he saw Star Wars and he was like, "Oh, I know what I can do with this Force idea."
Oh, sure, man. Sure.
Because it is a continuation of the Force in a way.
It is, and I think that was. I think I tend to forget, but I do think there was a whole lot more. Like the broader public was willing to give paranormal activity and stuff more of like, hey, maybe this is actually real, right? And so telekinesis is what they're, telekinesis and it's clairvoyance when you read someone's mind, right? Or when you can tell the future. So all of that stuff, ESP and all of that, because even by Ghostbusters, they're still, they're making more jokes about it, but it's still kind of in the forefront.
Right. Yep.
And so it's real easy for us to take for granted Star Wars using the Force, but maybe that's what George Lucas was commenting on the Force is like, okay, so what if that is real? Right? What if telekinesis and ESP and clairvoyance is a real thing? Then you can be good or bad, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But absolutely, this is kind of. I mean, I'm with you. I think Cronenberg was like, okay, this is gaining steam now. Let me play with those toys.
Let me show you what I can do.
Right.
With
it. Yeah. And he does a real good one because we never, like in the Star Wars universe, there's never a point where we are getting a firsthand experience of what Luke is hearing in his mind when he uses the Force, or what Darth Vader is hearing in his mind when they use the Force. But all of these scanners, that is exactly what we're hearing, right? Like how they're trying to block out the noise of everyone else's mind, and so they're taking the drug, which is actually putting them under control. And then the fact that they are able to, only some of them, apparently a very extremely small few of them, are able to use their power to telekinetic stuff and mind reading and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I love the Red Scare stuff too, right? It's like they're in this war with the Russians.
Right.
You have to get, there's this whole idea that, oh man, we've got to get somebody who can read minds.
Yeah.
Because this will help us,
Yeah, right.
all this other crap, and you're like, oh man, it's totally 1981.
Red Dawn,
Red Scare, right? Stranger Things now is like totally cashed in on that idea, but
awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah, I'm looking at the synopsis of this movie again because there's just so many. Here's the thing too. I don't know if you noticed this, but I was starting to fall asleep a lot through this movie. Did you notice? Okay. Yep. And I was trying hard to stay awake. I don't know. It was one of those days where I just, I didn't have enough sleep that whole day.
Yeah, totally.
Because I should, nobody should ever fall asleep during Scanners.
Oh no.
It's completely. I mean, it's enthralling.
Yeah.
But I feel like I missed a few scenes there.
Yeah.
In my old man doze.
There are definitely a couple of times. There's the things that I love about it too are because it's 1981. There's totally like a nostalgic feel.
Yeah.
Like when you see him at the mall.
Oh man.
And
we were both saying that.
You're just looking at that and it's like, oh, I'm gonna puke.
Yep.
The color,
everything
the lighting,
everything
design.
is like cranberry red.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Total.
And then when they go in the record store, right? And you saw you immediately saw that Frank Zappa Shake Your Booty was on.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, look at Zappa. I was like, oh, hey,
Zappa.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a Zappa prop. And
oh man.
There's really cool pop culture stuff in there. But there's something very comfortable. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because Cronenberg tries to get you on that, make you very uncomfortable, and then make you safe. And then make you very uncomfortable, and then maybe make you safe.
Right. Kind
of thing, right? And it's those safe moments when it's like, oh, okay, now I can relax.
Right. And that brings me to something I wanted to talk about with you too was this movie is like, it's one of those great borderline movies too. Like, is it sci-fi or is it horror?
Yeah, right, sure.
Because this may be the most sci-fi of all the horror movies that we've done so far.
I think it is, yeah.
Because it's really it's not particularly scary or horrifying. No. Unless you're really, like you don't like to see people's heads explode. I understand that and stuff. But it's not like, it's not unsettling in the way that it's actually scary,
Sure.
But it's unsettling for sure.
Sure.
Unsettling.
And it's not a monster movie. That's the other thing. I think just to keep it in the Cronenberg universe, it's not The Fly, right? The Fly is straight up a horror movie as you're ever going to get. Cronenberg's The Fly, obviously, is as straight up a horror movie as you're ever going to see. And it's perfectly executed, and there's all sorts of like horribly disgusting body horror in it.
Oh yes,
which seems to be the catchphrase now. But it's true. It's like just foul and rank. And this movie doesn't really have that. It's got some great moments, right? That whole end scene when their veins are all boiling up and his eyeballs are inside out and all that.
That was the best.
It's really good, but it's a lot more psychological. And I think you're right. It definitely seems to be more of a focus on this weird manipulation of the drug industry and how these conglomerates are trying to control people.
Yes.
And through science.
Right. Which is those ideas are still going strong today.
Oh, absolutely. Right.
It's still all the conspiracy people have been saying this stuff for decades.
That's right. I mean, that's right. Oh heck, that goes all the way back to Aldous Huxley and Huxley in A Brave New World.
That's true.
That was like in the 30s.
Yep.
So, that dialogue hasn't hardly changed at all.
Yeah.
Or 50s. When was that?
No, you're right. I think
that book was in the 30s.
Yeah.
And it's great because you read it and it's so relevant today, right?
That's where Jim Morrison got the doors from, right?
Yeah.
The doors of perception.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Take your blue pill.
Yep. The actor that played the main character, Cameron Vale, right? So who was that guy?
Yeah.
Was that Stephen Lack?
Yes.
Must be, right?
I IMDb'd him last night. So it turns out that he's actually far more famous as a painter than he ever was as an actor, and he was only kind of from reading his bio, it sounds like he was just acting for the sake of acting, and he's in 2 or 3 Cronenberg movies.
No kidding.
2, yeah.
Wow.
But
Scanners, Dead Ringers.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. But he gives not to pick on the guy, but his deliveries of lines are a little on the stiff side.
Yeah, and we noticed that right away. And part of it has to do with because Patrick McGoohan is so freaking awesome.
Yeah, right.
And Michael Ironside
kind of steals
great.
it. Those two guys steal the show otherwise from who your main character is, right?
Yeah.
And so he definitely had it hard.
Yeah. From the get-go.
It's funny because you said it, but it's like being Mark Hamill stuck between Alec Guinness and Harrison Ford, right? I mean, the guy's awesome, but super young. It's like his third or fourth movie, and it's like, how do you compare to those two guys, right?
Right. You can't do it.
Man. Yeah.
So, but it's kind of fun because we were talking about that as we were watching it. How Cameron Vale, the Stephen Lack, he There is something a little odd about him. The way he reads the lines and stuff, and just his expressions. He's got a great face, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why Cronenberg ended up choosing him in the end.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because he's such he's just such a slightly oddball, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, his lines. It's like you can almost tell he's like, okay, I want your lines to be slightly oddball too, but they were just like, well, you just don't know how to act.
right. That's the main problem there.
It was like I'm sure that's like very close to where man you can just nail it and you're an oddball. But I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, like I think one thing that's problematic is the fact that he, in the beginning when you first meet him, he's supposed to be like this homeless derelict.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And he just doesn't look like a homeless derelict.
Right.
He looks a little too American boy apple pie.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
He's got the big innocent look in his eyes. And,
Yep.
he this does not look like a guy who's lived on the street, you know?
Right.
A lot of actors are better at conveying that.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. But he gets through it, and like a lot of good main characters, they play the Mickey Mouse for you to kind of you get into Mickey Mouse's shoes.
That's right.
And then you see all this crazy world.
That's right.
So you're not even really focused so much on him.
Sure.
As a character.
So
much,
true.
Yep. You're experiencing everything through his eyes in a way. So So that's good. But man, his some of his lines were just you just couldn't help but laugh. You know? You're just like. And I struggled too for a little bit where I was kind of like, is he the same dude that was in Day of the Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Right. The helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because he really looks similar.
He does look like him, but it's not him.
It's not him.
No.
And that guy probably is a little bit better actor.
Yes.
He was a great zombie.
Yes. Oh man. As we said in that episode, people, if you haven't watched our Dawn of the Dead, you should.
Yes.
Because it's too funny because I would actually say that guy as an actor was really good because you don't like his character, right?
Yeah.
He's a prick flyboy.
Right.
And you're not rooting for him to die, but you're like, this guy is just a prick, man. And then once he zombies out, he's the best. He's the best zombie in that movie. Yeah. Yep. His walk and his face and the makeup. I mean, everything about it.
Yeah.
His delivery, you're like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
He just steals it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let me jump ahead a little bit in the story now.
Do it.
So, because this is where I started falling asleep.
Okay. Yes.
So I remember this now. So when Vale and he meets Kim Obrist, the woman in that group, right? And then their whole group gets slaughtered.
That's right.
Right? And she survives.
Yep.
And then they learn of the assassin. She scans the assassins and learns of a drug company which they infiltrate.
Yes.
Finding large quantities of ephemeral.
Ephemeral. That's the magic drug.
Distributed under a computer program called RIPE.
Yes.
Run by Revok himself through Consec.
That's right.
Vale and Obrist return to Consec, where Ruth suggests Vale cyberpathically scan the computer.
Yes.
That's a great word.
That's
cyberpathically.
awesome, right?
To learn more about the RIPE program. Yes. I mean, that's what's so great is like, there's just so many weird things going on here.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing too about Cronenberg. I feel like specifically, in Videodrome too.
Yes.
I want to ask you this, Dr. Kate.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you're watching his movies,
yeah,
like you're reading a short story? Because I totally get that feeling.
Oh man, I hadn't thought of that.
I totally get that feeling.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't, for some reason, his movies
So like
lend
pacing,
themselves.
you think he's
The
got like
pacing-
the really good
yeah.
pacing of a short story?
I think so.
Which we've talked about before. It's kind
Yeah.
of like you hear writers say that's sometimes the hardest thing to write is the short story.
Yeah.
Because you've got to be.
you gotta be so focused.
You have to be very focused without being so focused that you're just trying to tell the reader everything as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because I think that's what it is. It's he's so ultra focused on just like his main characters.
Yeah.
And the plot being driven through them.
Yeah,
And
definitely. That's true. That is absolutely
He probably
true.
very rarely, maybe never, cuts away to like some other location somewhere else.
Right.
Or somebody on a plane somewhere or something. You know.
Right.
He doesn't do those kind of things.
That's totally
so
true.
You're just with them. You know.
Yeah.
You're in their heads.
Yep.
In the same way as you would be reading like a short story.
Man, you're absolutely. I was just thinking. Speaking of The Fly, because I just watched that recently too.
Yeah.
You're so right. The Fly has like 5 people in the whole movie, the entire thing.
Right.
Right. It's Jeff Goldblum. It's Gina Davis, who are your two main characters. It's her ex-boyfriend, who's her boss, and then there's like the abortion doctor, who's in 2 scenes. That's it. I mean, that's really it. Every time you see anybody else, it's almost like extras, or they're just there to be like, yeah, I have to have you in the scene because we're somewhere.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's like, and you know, the great thing about that movie is you're watching the degradation of Jeff Goldblum's character, right? He's kind of like how he awesomely turns into a monster and then horribly turns into a monster,
right?
And drags Gina Davis's character in with him. But you're totally right. Yeah, it's like very, very few characters to tell this massive story.
Huge story, yeah.
Which is
right with all these companies and things, shady things going on. But it's like
all the weird science stuff and all that we can't talk about it. And,
right.
Yeah. Yep.
So here,
no, you're totally right.
Here's the part. So, just so the audience knows, I mean, I freaking love Scanners, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I bought this movie years ago.
Yep.
I've seen it probably 5 or 6 times, right? Yep. But probably the last time I've seen it was maybe 10. No, I mean not that long ago. Maybe 6 years ago or something, right?
Yep.
So I do want to admit, I fell asleep during this movie, but it's not.
It's all coming back to you.
It's not from any that I didn't find it enjoyable or find it boring or anything.
Right.
That being said, there's a part here which I don't remember, and I want you to explain it to the readers or to the listeners.
Yes,
here.
I will.
They visit a doctor on the list of ephemeral recipients, where Obrist discovers a pregnant woman's fetus has scanned her.
That's right. That's right.
What?
Okay, so you missed the whole major story arc.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah. So tell me again what happens here.
Okay, so what has happened is we better back up to the introduction. I think that character's name is Kim, right?
Yeah, Kim Obrist.
Okay, so our main character, what's his name?
Vale.
Vale.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vale is working for the security company.
Yeah, Consec.
Yeah. Who has
Which can I pause you a second?
Yes.
Because that was another big thing. Was both of us were like, wow, these crazy old concrete Canadian buildings that look like the Death of Incredible Hulk.
They do
buildings.
They absolutely do.
We could see Bruce Banner any second.
You could.
I'm sorry, David Banner.
David Banner. Not Bruce. Not Bruce. Now he's David Banner. That whole discussion, man. No, you're so right. It's like if you've watched enough TV and enough film, very quickly you will know if it's shot in Canada or not. And this is one of those you instantly know it's shot in Canada.
Yep.
And part of that is those concrete buildings that are literally. There's not a piece of wood in them, man. They're giant, massive concrete pours that look like every community college in North America, in the U.S. If you guys go look at a community college, forget the siding. Yeah. Just look at that and be like, that building looks like a geometric Lego made out of concrete. Right. Every single building in this movie looks like that.
It's like Canada and North Korea. They're both doing the same thing.
Yes. Man. Okay.
But go back to
Okay,
your
so we
story
digress.
now.
So what happens is everybody's kind of interconnected. So Mcgoohan's character, who was awesome, Dr. Ruth, back in the 50s, before he is hired by Consec to come on as a consultant, has started a pharmaceutical company, and his major breakthrough is this ephemeral.
Yeah.
He then, at some point, which he doesn't actually give a time, but we're kind of supposed to figure out probably, say, 10 or 20 years before this, so maybe in the 60s or the early 70s, Consec buys his pharmaceutical company and rolls it in, but he comes on as a full-time advisor because he was the guy who came up with this their ephemeral, which is this major thing, right? So he now works for Consec. So the whole thing is they don't come straight out and tell us what ephemeral actually does. Now they kind of the filmmaker lies to us, right? Which is great. Yeah. We go on a kind of a wild goose chase because we see that when Vale takes the ephemeral, which is funny too. That was also interesting. That
was a cool scene. There was with all those people being led up the stairs, and then all the voices going on, and again, incredible sound design.
Yep. I really liked too. I think this was they were commenting on heroin use and junkies because he never injects into his vein. They always inject into the butt of their thumb.
Yeah,
which was weird.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, man, that's kind of strange the first time. But then you see every single time that's what they're doing. They're injecting it into their hand. Yeah. And I thought, okay, he's commenting on something. And I think maybe it was on some, I'm not sure. I haven't quite figured it out. But I definitely think it was on drug use is what that's kind of like a sideways way of commenting on it.
I think you're right.
But in the movie, they definitely build it to where you always see the ephemeral getting injected into the hand because sometimes when they catch him, when he goes to talk to the splinter cell of scanners and they catch him, that's where they grab him and they inject it into his hand and then he wakes up and the whole bit. But anyway,
and that was weird though too. Like the first time he gets it, so he, remember like all the people are being led up by Mcgoohan and he's just looking at Vale and then Mcgoohan Vale is like thrashing around, but like not making a sound. That was kind of a weird choice and
totally
just that was a cool scene, I think. But then he uses the ephemeral and then the voices die down
so that's why we are to believe and so what Ruth's character says to him is that he had originally planned to use the ephemeral for a different use, but he doesn't say what. And he says, and then what we found out is that if we give it to scanners, that it causes their overactive ESP to calm down so that they can normally function. Okay, so that's a lie, which is awesome. That's great fucking storytelling, right? By Cronenberg, to have his one character lie to this to us as the audience. So what we find out actually happened was he was trying to unlock the powers of ESP. He developed ephemeral, and then what he did is in his early in his trials testing, he was giving it to pregnant women for, and they say why, but it was to prevent colic or something totally benign, right? But what happens is in giving it to pregnant women, it creates the scanner population. Everybody who got it became a scanner. And so then what happens is he finds this out, and then it all becomes like totally top secret, can't tell anybody, but we're watching our characters figure this out, right? And so when our characters go, they find out, they hack into the computer, and then they say that there's this big list, right? And they don't know what the list is that they're looking at. And then they figure out, holy crap, this is a list of pediatricians. We need to go talk to somebody. That's when they go to that doctor's office, and when...
that's when the fetus scans her.
That's when the fetus scans her while he's in talking to the doctor. He goes in and roughs house to the doctor. Kim is sitting in the waiting room. There's a pregnant lady there, and she starts bugging out. We don't know why. Her nose starts bleeding. Our main character comes out, says, I figured out, he told me some blah blah information we need to know. And he's like, what happened to you? And she's like, I've been scanned. And he starts looking around. He's like, oh, holy shit. So, who scanned you? Was it Revik? And she's like, no, it was the fetus. And that's when we start to understand, like, holy crap, there's a massive conspiracy to create more scanners. Because the other thing is that the computer holds the master list of all known scanners, right? And they say how many, the population is 250 or something, pretty small population, and they're regularly getting killed off because what Revik is doing is he's trying to get all scanners to come and join him to be a terrorist group, basically. And if they don't join, it's either join or die.
And it's almost, I got the sense it's almost like Chris Claremont's X-Men in a way, that thing of,
Absolutely.
of like, right? Like
Absolutely.
He's freaking Magneto, right?
Absolutely.
He's
Yep,
like
that's
he's
right.
like we
He's
are
Magneto.
superior
Yep.
to humans.
That's right.
So we should destroy humanity
We
and
should-
we should be the master race.
We should be the master race, and so the way we are going to do that is we are going to go back to a regiment of injecting pregnant women with the ephemeral on these doctors who we've played off. We won't tell them why.
Yep. We'll just say
But
it's a
we will
tranquilizer.
we'll just very quickly be able to generate a massive army
Yeah.
of mutants. Yeah. Yep. You got it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's what they were doing there.
And then it's so beautiful too because like the mythos here is just incredible,
Oh, dude,
right?
it's great.
Because then you find out, which I do remember now, right? Is that Revok, the villain, Michael Ironside, and Vale are brothers.
That's
and
right.
Guess who their father was? Mcgoohan.
Mcgoohan.
Dr. Ruth
And
was
you
their
would think
father.
that's so crappy, right?
Yeah.
Like that. That's so cheeky.
That's soap opera.
But it's so
It
awesome.
works. It works.
Dude, that last scene when they're all in the room together, right?
Yeah.
It's I mean you're watching the movie to get to that
Yeah,
last scene. That's
yeah.
one of those great.
Yeah.
You see like B movies fail at this over and over again.
Yeah.
All the build up and you're like, okay, well at least the climax is going to be good and then this movie is just picture perfect
Yeah.
that if you do it right
Yep.
and now we're going to tell you what's actually happening in the final scene. Oh man. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
yeah. So Revok does the big reveal, and it's very Darth Vader. It's like I'm not your father, I'm your brother.
I'm your brother. Yep.
But and our dad, and then that's when he starts to explain a bunch of the
Yeah.
this is how I know, and this is how because he's working as he's working behind Ruth's back for the company anyway, right? They've got him in their pocket, but it's great. And then he tells his little brother, hey, we need to join.
Yeah.
And then
join me.
They do the battle of the minds.
Yeah,
and then
so
either they
great.
do join or they don't.
Right.
That's
We
the
don't
great
know.
question. I love it. So here's what I want to say about the last. Or should we wait for the last scene? Let's keep going. Okay.
No, we'll get there in a second. But I wanted to ask you to remind me.
Yes.
What happened to Dr. Ruth? Did he get shot by the main doctor guy?
So Ruth is in the room by himself,
Yeah.
and that guy is.
He comes up behind
so
him or
that's when,
something?
he comes up behind him and shoots him.
Yes.
And this is when he kind of like shows his true colors,
Yeah.
and now he's going to do a hostile takeover
Yeah.
of the company.
Right.
Right.
Because he was secretly working with Revok.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I remember
so
that
he just
too.
executes him. Then he goes in to where his doom is in the lab room, the
Yeah.
computer room
Yeah.
with the giant reel-to-reel computers and everything. Where he gets blown to effing smithereens, which is great.
Yeah, I know. There's just so many.
Yes, I mean hacking into the computer by just picking a telephone up,
Yeah.
right, and using your mind to write in. And that's we joked about when we were watching it, right? So there's the scene in there where that character, the head of the security, is asking. He's got the two scientists at gunpoint, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, you have to completely shut the computer down so that the scanner doesn't hack into the computer, right?" And they're like, "Oh no, that's impossible.
Yeah.
We've got all these, this is like the most encrypted place in the whole country."
Right.
And then the one guy's like, "Well, except that we're hooked up to the telephone lines."
Oh.
And then it cuts to our main character picking a phone up and be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm just gonna, I don't even, he didn't have to call anybody. He just picks the phone up."
It's great.
And then they keep showing that circuit board.
Yeah.
And it's like him hacking his way
Dude.
in and then reading. Yeah, that was great, using ESP to hack a computer to read computer files.
Yes.
I mean, that was brilliant.
I mean, it's in a way, it's so awesomely 80s too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're really before the internet still and stuff, and it's just
Exactly.
amazing. But going back and revisiting this movie, you're just thinking like, man, there is so much here. And I know they made some Scanners sequels.
They did. They made 2 more. Yeah.
but they were all dirt.
They
crap.
look like garbage. Yeah. Yep.
But there is so much here. There's so much mythos to play with. And I really hope some really good director comes back and like, let's remake Scanners.
Agreed.
Let's stop remaking Poltergeist. Let's stop remaking all of these like, all of these things that either A, should not be remade or B, have been remade 3 or 4 or 5 times already.
Right.
Scanners is one that I think really deserves to be looked at again. And like we were saying, like a lot of times if you do a remake, then do it in the way that you are adding to it somehow.
Thank you.
Either
Exactly.
by even at the very least you have more money now than they did back then, so you can do more. You can do more amazing things. Which would be fun to see in this world, I think. Because
Oh man, right.
there's just so much there's so much of what we love about Star Wars embedded in this.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But then it's also just got all this other weird Cronenberg stuff.
Yes.
That's just so fascinating, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more.
So,
Yep.
It's a blast.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So let me see. I'm looking at the Wikipedia again now.
Yes.
So let's go back. Let's go to the final scene again.
Okay, so the final scene, which is really the big showdown, right?
Revik declares, "I will suck you dry."
Yes.
If Vale won't side with him.
Yep.
And they'll be together regardless.
They will.
Yeah.
They will.
And this is where you get that great cover. Of Michael Ironside with his eyeballs turned inside out and his skin basically on fire, you know, because they're both starting each other on fire with their minds.
With their minds, you know? Yes. Oh, we left that out. So that is one of his powers, one of the scanner's powers, right? Yeah. Is that they can just catch shit on fire using ESP,
pyrotelekinesis.
Yeah. We see that a couple of times, guys getting burnt to a crisp, and but yeah, it's great because now it's the two most powerful scanners.
Yeah, which are brothers.
Who are brothers, and all of the veins in their head start poking out like 2 inches, as they try to mind boil each other and burn each other to a crisp.
It's incredible.
It is so good. It is so good, and the best part too. So I forget was. Oh yeah, so. Revik had caught both of them. And had Kim was drugged in the other room. Yeah. She was in the next room over, and they'd given her the ephemeral, and so she passed out and was asleep. And that's why she's not there for the final showdown.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the reveal is just so good, right? So she wakes up and is like, oh, what's going on?
Opens the door.
We didn't get to see, like, either they killed each other, they both blew up, they both burnt to a crisp. Right. She opens the door, and she looks around and doesn't see anything, and then sees a guy in the corner with a jacket pulled over him.
Yeah. Well, before that though, doesn't she see the charred corpse of?
Oh yeah, that's right.
She sees like this like charred skeleton in like a heap of ash.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that was good effect too.
Yeah.
To Dick Smith. Yes.
Oh yeah, it was
the burnt body. Yeah.
And you're just thinking like, who is it? Was that Michael Ironside or is that Vale?
Right.
And
then there's somebody in the corner, and he goes like, "Oh, hello." What's he? He says something kind of cheeky, you know, like.
Well, yeah, he says according to this, he says, "We've won."
Oh, we've won. Yeah. That's it, and he pulls it off, and you see Vale.
Yeah.
But it's Michael Ironside's eyeballs. Yeah.
And a credit too to Michael Ironside because he gives that line reading as Stephen Lack would do it too. Oh,
perfectly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so bizarrely stiff and flat.
Yes. Right. His voice, his eyeballs in the other character. Oh, dude!
And then, what a brilliant ending, though, right?
Yeah.
Because it just ends there. So then it's like we've won.
Yep.
So who's won though?
Right.
And that's what you have to decide.
I love that. I love that.
Great. And again, that's a typical short story ending too, right?
That's right.
That's such a typical freaking Clark Ashton Smith or even H.P. Lovecraft or any Stephen King even had short stories like that.
Yeah. And what I love about it is it demands of in this case the viewer to posit what the ending is. Mm-hmm. You bring to it what the ending is. Yeah. So for instance, I think that what that's saying is that Michael Ironside has won, right?
I think
because
so,
his
too.
agenda the whole time was to bring
win.
them together, and we were just thinking that he meant join forces with me. Yeah. But I think what it was he was actually telling Vale for us to join our minds together, right?
Right. I want your powers.
And so, I need your full power. Yeah. And so I think it's Michael Ironside is one. But then you can absolutely bring to it, then it's like, no, it's actually... Vale has overcome his brother, but then has reached the highest level because his brother, generally, we kind of think is really he's perfected the scanning art, right, in the way that he's killing people left and right with his powers. And so maybe he has overcome, but I tend to think it's more the dark side, more of a darker ending.
Yeah, I that's where I kind of lean towards too, but it's ambiguous enough though.
It is
to make you question it because he really does sound like Vale at the end. You know? He sounds like he, you know, in a way that's kind of, I mean, it's more interesting visually at least that Michael Ironside becomes the other guy now.
Right.
But I tend to feel that too. I think in knowing Cronenberg like we know Cronenberg too.
Yeah.
he's not that much of an optimist. I don't
Right.
think,
Exactly.
He's a little bit of a cynic and a little bit of a downer.
Exactly.
And, and he doesn't mind just eviscerating his characters.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I mean, he loves this stuff, but he's like, he's not a sentimental type. He's not a Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
He's not going to give us a happy ending.
So true. So true.
So he's going to punch us in the gut. And then go eat some Canadian bacon.
And it's in
his community college Canadian building, watching hockey and drinking maple syrup.
Yes.
That's what every Canadian
and milk
does.
out of a bag.
Yeah.
You
Milk
Canadians.
out of a bag.
I can't forgive Canadians for drinking regular milk out of a plastic bag.
Was that ever a thing in California?
No.
Okay, because it was in Minnesota. It was
because you were so close to Canada.
we were getting infiltrated. By the evil.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
About,
I remember for a long time. It was probably like late '80s, early '90s. Where I remember we would get bags of milk and we would be replacing the pitcher with bags of milk. And under the guise of like, I think it was like better for the environment or something. It was like one of those weird things.
Right.
But I remember like taking the scissors and like cutting the corner of the bag so I could pour milk and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we just stopped doing it. I don't know when that was, but
yeah.
maybe that was after the
When
Great War with
like,
Canada.
Yes.
We finally achieved victory, getting their reptilian.
That's right.
Yeah, no, come on. I love Canadians.
They're
give
great.
Me a break.
They're
Kids in the
great.
hall, give me a break.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
My goodness. Hockey. That's all I got to say about that.
But we love to poke fun at them.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Because I mean, come on, let's be honest. Canada, you don't have anywhere near as cool holidays as we do.
No.
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 Have you seen like Canadian Thanksgiving?
No.
It's a poor excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just go down to your local Tim Hortons and get a donut.
Exactly.
That's why I want to go to Canada again, because last time I went, I didn't stop at Tim Hortons. Mistake.
Dang, I never went there either.
Yeah.
I've only been to which because coming from Minnesota, I was so close.
Yeah.
A couple hours drive.
Yep.
But I've only ever been to, the Vancouver airport, but also
right.
Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Manitoba,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Saw a great concert there.
Excellent.
Really great. I saw freaking Maynard was there, man.
And
his
speaking of
perfect
earlier.
Yeah, Perfect Circle.
Yes,
that was Perfect
absolutely.
Circle.
Oh, dude, I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was good. This was probably 99, 2000, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
it was great.
Killer.
But we digress. Yeah,
we do. We do.
The thing, I guess the thing that why I keep going back to Scanners, is just that Cronenberg world, man. That world of just it's like this borderline tinfoil hat conspiracy thing going on.
Yes.
But it's just you can't trust anyone.
Right.
And
right. Oh yeah, the paranoia. His
paranoia.
His finger is on that.
Rank.
Yep.
Rank with paranoia.
Yep.
And just oddness, weirdness.
Yes.
You know? But also just there's something just I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like I know we always talk about David Lynch. Yeah. But, if anybody has listened to 16 episodes of us so far, they also love David Lynch.
That's right.
As much as we do.
That's right.
So we're preaching to the choir.
They're all clapping right now.
Yeah, right.
Finally.
But David Lynch does the same thing where it's like there are times where you feel like you're in a dream.
Yes.
And that's the best way I can describe it.
Right.
You are just literally watching a dream play out on the screen.
Right.
And I just love it. I love that feeling.
Me too. Okay, so Peter, obviously we both love Scanners, but if you were to pick a favorite, and it could be whimsy, it could be for any reason, your favorite Cronenberg film.
Oh, Videodrome, man.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like for me, Videodrome is almost like it's like this peak of his.
Yeah.
Where like all those things that we saw in Scanners and in his earlier films and everything, they all kind of come to a head there, and I think partly it's just the time period too.
Sure, absolutely.
Because it's just so full of that VHS goodness that we love.
Yes,
and
because you love James Woods. Of course.
And James Woods is awesome in that.
He is.
He's really so great, man. The Flesh, the New Flesh, and all that stuff. I mean, he really goes into outer space with that stuff. And,
Heck yeah.
And it's just that movie is just such a trip, and and I love how edgy it is too.
Yeah,
and I love how Deborah Harry gets naked
absolutely.
too.
Oh man,
it's I mean, we get to see Blondie naked.
Ooh,
I mean,
Debbie Harry.
That's you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
But like all that stuff with like this porn station that's
Yeah.
going on in the middle of the night, like
I know.
I mean that was my not that was my childhood, but I have so many memories of myself watching HBO in the middle of the night, you know,
Right.
when, as a kid, and like watching something I knew I shouldn't be watching.
Oh yeah.
You know, with like or Cinemax, you know, or
Sure,
any one of those
girl,
channels,
Cinemax, yep.
or like go over to my friend's house and like, oh yeah, I've got the Playboy channel, you know?
Yep.
Like all
Yep,
of that stuff of like.
Yep.
Just this taboo-ness of
yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the word.
I mean,
you nailed it.
Videodrome's
Yep.
full of that, you know.
That's great. That's great.
So, but what about you? What's your
So
favorite?
I have to say, because I'm so enthralled with surrealism.
Yeah.
I think his best surrealist effort, and it was not because it was his best, but because it was so well executed, is Naked Lunch.
Yeah.
It is just so freaking
sure.
weird.
For sure.
Yep, and Peter Weller, and that, you joked about it before on a different episode of ours, but that, like, there were those of us who watched it and were like, that's just, it was like Eraserhead or something.
Yeah.
It was like,
Oh yeah.
and then there was everybody else who was Bart Simpson, right? Who's like,
Right.
okay, that has nothing to do with either of those two words.
Right. There are two words wrong with that title.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that fairly, I was probably in high school, I
Right.
guess. But yeah, that was like Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Like you come away from it and you're like, I can't
What
believe
is
what I
that?
just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's particularly great, like, knowing the book Naked Lunch
Yes.
too, William S. Burroughs.
That's right.
And just how, like, it's one of those few adaptations where the movie is really nothing like the book at all.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
few
yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
but they could definitely be two different, completely different animals.
absolutely. Yeah,
But like spiritually,
Right.
they're the same. Spiritually, they're exactly the same.
That's right,
And
that's
so
right.
Cronenberg was the perfect person to adapt that.
Absolutely. And we've talked about this ad nauseum about Ridley Scott and Blade Runner.
Yeah, Philip
it's
K.
kind
Dick.
of almost like there's this thing that is so awesome, but then the director is like, I'm just going to springboard off that and just kind of use that.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And then,
I'm using the feeling of that.
Yes.
To tell this story.
Yeah,
Which is awesome you mentioned Blade Runner, though, because do you know the title Blade Runner?
Yes.
It's from a William S. Burroughs book.
Oh.
So
I
it's
didn't.
part of the same
Holy
thing. Yeah.
shit.
Blade Runner itself, Philip K. Dick never once uses
Yeah,
that title.
that's true. That's
Because it was
you're
always
absolutely
Do
right.
Androids Dream of
That's
Electric
right.
Sheep, right?
Yeah.
And it was I remember,
Yeah.
I just know this from being an idiot and watching, like, hours and hours of behind the scenes footage and stuff.
Yeah.
But I always,
Where did they get the title?
I always
for the
loved
movie,
that.
and why is he called a Blade Runner?
I always loved that. Like, there was I
Yep.
think it was one of the screenwriters or something that just loved that title Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And they were just like, can we make something with this title? And
Yeah, absolutely.
and they're just like, okay, yeah, that works. Like,
Absolutely. Oh, that's so great.
So it would be fun to read Blade Runner by William S. Burroughs, though.
Yes.
And see where that goes.
Yep.
Because it's probably not where Ridley Scott went with it.
Oh man.
But
that's
yeah,
great.
no, dude, Naked Lunch is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So it's way more polished too than most
Oh,
of his
yeah,
other
yeah,
movies
yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
by that time he was a major director,
Big time, right?
and he had total control,
Right.
right?
So, Peter, I forgot to send this to you. Just as an aside,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a picture of it, and I didn't even send it to you.
Okay.
So I was just out visiting my mom in California 2 weeks ago, and I was in San Luis Obispo downtown, and I took a picture of it. It's a hair salon called The Blade Runners.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
I thought you were going to say that you saw a mugwump down there.
No, I wish.
But we have
I was
seen
at the beach and I
Yeah.
saw a mugwump. We have seen real
we have
mugwumps.
seen real mugwumps.
The actual real ones.
At that video store in Portland.
Yes.
Which is called
Movie Madness.
Movie Madness, yeah.
Movie Madness, yeah.
That's a great place.
People, if you're in Portland
Yep.
and you love film, just for the shits and giggles, you have to go to Movie Madness.
You have to see
It's
it.
unreally good.
It's a museum.
Yeah. It is a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the stuff to look at in there, on top of the fact that they have, tens of thousands of rentals. At least that. We might not even know. They might have a back room that's got 100,000 movies in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think if Dr. K and I were 20 years younger and we had more time and stuff, we would go there probably weekly at least.
Almost guaranteed. Yeah,
With
we
a
would
notebook.
probably just make sure that we lived in that neighborhood in Southeast, so that
and we would go there with a notebook, and we would just go to like the Indian martial arts movie section. And we would just start
which has
writing
at least
down.
900 movies in it. Yeah.
We would just start writing them down so that we knew what were the main movies to see in the Indian martial arts genre. You know?
Yep. So true. Can you imagine that place? Because we didn't move here until we were much older. Yeah. But I mean, that place has been there forever.
Oh, dude.
And can you imagine when it was all VHS?
Back in the heyday?
Yeah.
When people were actually renting movies?
Like, say, 1990, when it was all...
And there's probably like 300 people there. It's like it's like a nightclub, you know? Like a dance club just full of people.
Yeah.
Like now
tech noir.
Yeah. Now there's just like all these fat bald guys like us.
Old.
Yeah, just walking around like shuffling around being like, where has my life gone? Do you know which section my life is in?
So funny. Yep. So me and
they
Pete
have a Lance Henriksen section.
They do.
That's how awesome this place is.
So me and Pete and his younger brother are there because we're going to eat pizzas.
Yes.
And we're standing there.
It was Corso. It was Mr. Corso.
Oh, it was Mr. Corso. Yeah. Okay. So we're that's right. It was Mr. Corso. So we're there and we're hanging out, and me and Peter are looking at the new releases. I think it was, and then that little old lady comes over and she just starts like, "So what do you guys think of this? Is any of this any good?" We're just like, "Oh yeah." We just just started talking with her. You know, I mean, it was totally like 25 years ago.
Yeah, it was
like
Blockbuster.
a total blast.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was. We were Blockbuster Video employees.
Right. Yeah.
Which is what we do now, basically, with the Neighborhood Watch.
It totally is.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the service we're providing.
Yeah, we aren't trying to sell you on our rental. We're trying to sell you on, dang it, what is good.
On good stuff. Because dang it, we care about you.
We do.
We want you to watch good things.
We do.
And this is the problem. This is why we bring up Movie Madness, is because with the way the internet and information is right now, how will we ever know what's good unless somebody tells us?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why the gatekeepers are so important right now, because otherwise we're going to spend a lot of time watching just crap and thinking, thinking that like, all martial arts movies are horrible because I've seen 5 Jackie Chan movies and I don't like them that much, you know. And then you're like, have you seen the Wu-Tang channel on YouTube?
Oh my goodness!
Because if you wanna, because Dr. K introduced that to me.
Yep.
And then that was endless entertainment because
oh my goodness,
you're just
that
like,
guy's got
okay,
his shit together.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you need those people to kind of direct you, be like, no.
You do.
That's cool if
and
you like that.
People,
but,
not bots. That's the thing.
Right.
I understand that we're in the age of perfecting bots and perfecting recommendations and all that. It's not the same, people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It isn't the same.
Yeah, it's
you can have bots tell you everything you ever want to know about the world, and it's we're gonna get back into do androids dream of electric sheep. You're gonna forget what the world is after a while, and not be and you. And you'll not know what is real and what isn't real, and basically talking with people like we do. That's I mean, it's important.
Well, and that's the problem with the bots is it's just reinforcing what you like already.
That's right. That's
they're not giving you anything new. So it's like as if you think Burger King is the best restaurant on the earth, which for me, I'm not gonna. Hey, I love Burger King. I'm not using that as a I love Burger King.
As Peter adjusts his Burger King helmet. Right now, his paper Burger King hat,
my crown, which I wear every day.
Yes.
But it's as if as if you love Burger King, and then the bots are just saying, well, if you like Burger King, try Wendy's.
Yeah.
If you like Wendy's, try McDonald's. If you like McDonald's, you try Arby's, and then back to Hardee's now, or it's just putting you in that little endless fast food circle, and you're never going to go beyond that and try like Lebanese food or something.
Right.
And maybe you will love Lebanese food, but you need somebody to come out and say like, hey, get out of your little circle jerk here, and try over here.
Come with me and let's get some baba ganoush.
And then you're like, whoa. I mean, that's like how again. Hopefully, we're gonna get Peter's father here.
Yes,
for our
on
next
the
episode,
next episode,
because he's been so instrumental for me.
Absolutely.
in that role,
Yes.
And he still continues to do that. Like, we were talking about that Indian movie BAHUBALI.
Yes.
Which he found it on Netflix one day.
Yes.
And he was like, you have to see this Indian Bollywood
Lord of the
Rings thing. And I was like, Dad, And then he turns it on. He's like, no. And then he turns it on, and just like you could see my eyeballs exploding, and I was just like, whoa, what is this?
Yes. I mean, to say that Bahubali is epic is the biggest understatement of all time. It's like every word with an exclamation point after combined.
Right.
It's grandiose. It's epic.
Oh man,
it's larger than life.
It's
beyond reality. It's beyond belief. It's beyond just all goodness.
It's like Jerry Bruckheimer gave birth to himself, and they both snorted cocaine and rode a rocket into
the jungles of India and landed
yeah.
on the backs of dancing elephants.
Right. And then wrote an entire musical about that experience.
Yes.
And then Peter Jackson filmed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
That's pretty much
Bahubali, people.
Yeah,
check
Bahubali.
it out.
And I haven't even seen I mean, that's what's so great is like I love these movies. There's two of them, right?
Yeah.
There's Bahubali, the beginning, and then there's Bahubali 2, the conclusion.
Ah, yes.
And I think we were actually watching part 2.
Oh yeah, no wonder it was so good.
I don't think we've even seen part 1 yet. But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's
so
so
it
good.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But that's why you need us people, and that's why you need to talk to people who love film if you love film.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we love doing this.
Oh my goodness. That was the whole point of the Neighborhood Watch, is to watch out.
Yeah.
And let us turn you on to something good.
For sure. But that goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, we now have an Instagram account.
That's right.
Which
check us out, people.
Which I've been hitting pretty hard. We are now over 300 followers.
Yes. And we thank you, our 300 acolytes.
Yes, exactly. Our 300.
Let's
go to Sparta.
It's funny because that's about. I guess we have 400 subscribers on this.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm excited about that too now because we're approaching the 500 mark on YouTube.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is pretty amazing, Like,
it is.
It's just there's a lot of cool people out there.
There are a lot of awesome people.
And so, but what we're saying is, it goes both ways. Recommend things to us too.
Yeah, please.
We're here to interact.
Please do.
We don't want to just be the crazy guys in the middle of the town square preaching,
right?
Where everybody avoids them.
Yes, we're Socrates and Plato over here.
Or just like a nutbag with the Bible.
Right.
Which we are. Well, let's be honest, we are.
We are. But
hopefully
that's
we can also have normal conversations too.
Yeah.
At least our wives try to teach us to do that.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I think I'm excited now because soon we will have another movie to watch.
That's right.
Very soon, actually.
Very soon.
I have to check with you because I was checking with Papa Peter.
Okay.
And,
yes.
It might even be like tomorrow or Friday or something.
Awesome.
To
that
watch
sounds
it.
great.
We're not going to say what the movie is.
That's right.
But it's something we haven't touched on.
That's right. It's a whole nother avenue
of the
horror genre that we love so much. But it's and there's a lot of things we haven't touched on, but this one is awesome. And so we'll keep it a secret.
Yeah.
But you guys will end up finding out in a few days anyway. So
exactly.
Please stay tuned.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of good stuff.
Any final thoughts on Scanners?
Final thoughts on Scanners. It's awesome.
It is.
It's great. I wish I could say more than that. If you like, man, and I think we both follow. I'll speak for you here, Peter, because I know we do. Michael Ironsides is awesome.
Oh, he's the best.
He's a really great actor. Has done a million good things. Not to mention, but specifically V.
Oh,
All Things
great.
V.
Yeah.
And Starship Troopers.
Yes.
And the Ray Bradbury Theater. And
the villain in Highlander 2.
The villain in Highlander 2.
The Quickening.
The only reason to watch Highlander 2, in fact.
Yeah. Oh, and Sean Connery being shot with Uzis.
That's true.
Also
That's
good.
true. Yes,
but
he does get shot with Uzis.
Yeah, we had to get Highlander 2 in there.
We did. We'll try not to get to Highlander 3 because then it's a black hole we'll never crawl out of.
I think we should just end every episode on Highlander. Yes. That would be great. I have some good friends that will love that. So,
oh man,
talking to you, H-Man. I know H-Man listens to us regularly, so
yes, H-Man, thank you.
Yep. But yeah, I agree, man. It's great, and just look at that cover alone. With Michael Ironside on fire with his eyeballs inside out.
Yes.
Just stare at that for hours.
Scanning.
It's so good.
Good too. Next time you come over, Peter, I'm gonna have a huge poster of that on the door to this office.
We definitely need to get T-shirts of that. I think
we do.
I mean, it's one of those things where we always talk about that in the video store.
Yeah,
when you pick that up,
right.
And the first time you saw that cover, you were just like, this has to be good.
Yeah.
There's no way this cannot be bad with a cover like that.
Yep.
I mean, it sold that movie. Like
and it's
nothing.
one that paid off too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it really was.
Yeah.
It's as good as the cover.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the cover isn't lying to you.
Right. Because a lot of those covers did lie to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Comedies are the worst.
Uh-huh.
The cover on comedies are just so freaking ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah.
They're just it's like beyond reality.
Yep.
Because why would you care about a comedy otherwise?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we're talking to you, National Lampoon's.
That's right.
Vacation. You remember the cover for Vacation?
Oh yeah.
It was like Boris Vallejo.
All the Boris covers. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which is actually kind of awesome now in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because it was so not that.
Right.
But man.
It was so not shake your booty.
Yeah. But man, yeah. And I think we will be revisiting Cronenberg very soon.
Oh man, almost.
Because I need an excuse. What I want to do, I want to pitch this to you right now, is what I would love to do is watch The Fly with Vincent Price, right?
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
And then watch The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Okay. And then 3, watch The Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz.
Yes.
So, because I've seen the original with Vincent Price, I want to see that again.
Yeah.
I haven't
Have you seen Return of the Fly?
Oh, with Vincent. That was also with Vincent Price,
Yes.
wasn't it? Yeah. Maybe that was the one I saw then. I can't remember.
So that's the weird one where did the Vincent Price one you see, was it in color or black and
It was
white?
black and white. Yeah.
So that was the second one.
Oh, okay.
That's Return of the Fly, which is in black and
I just remember he had a huge fly head.
Right. The second one is Return of the Fly.
Okay.
That's in black and white. Yeah. And then because what happened was they got Vincent Price under contract to do a sequel, but they had no money. And so they're like, well, this is going to be, we can't afford color. And I always thought that was so weird. Like, how did it go from color back to black and white?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to watch
they're
a
both
bunch.
good. Both of those two are good.
Yeah.
And I do have all 4. So I have both of those, and I have
good.
the Cronenberg Fly and the Eric Stoltz.
See, people?
The Fly 2, which is also good.
Okay.
I will say that's you can't compare the two movies. That's a horrible mistake to do. Yeah. But as far as a monster movie goes, Fly 2 is good, man. It's got some awesome practical effects, gigantic, disgusting monster thing.
All right. That'll be fun. We should have a whole Fly extravaganza, kind of the same way we did
there we go.
Fright Nights.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right.
Because it will be the same thing. It's 2 movies.
Heck yeah.
And then 2 remakes. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That'll be fun. And then, of course, then if we go down the Vincent Price route, then we're going to have to go with Last Man on Earth, and then Omega Man, and then I Am Legend.
Yes.
Which is still for me, that's probably one of my all-time favorite vampire stories.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't agree more.
Just incredible.
It's so cool. And the funny thing is, it's like if you put those 3 and what's the second Planet of the Apes? Because that's got weird underground dwellings
beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
It's like almost like that fits in better. Beneath the Planet of the Apes fits in almost better with the I Am Legend, because the book was called I Am Legend, right? That's what it was all based on, this book, but we'll just call it the I Am Legend mythos.
Yep.
Almost fits better with that, but that whole take on vampires being they're
zombies.
They're zombie vampires.
Yeah. Oh, it's
who the sunlight
good.
Doesn't really destroy, but it's great.
Oh man, it's
There's one guy.
It's so good, and it's freaking So Richard Matheson wrote that, right?
Yes.
Richard Matheson wrote like 90% of all the great Twilight Zone episodes.
Oh yeah, right.
So it's again like the same way that Rod Serling did Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
As a great Twilight Zone episode, right?
Totally.
This I Am Legend works the same way. It's just like an incredible Twilight Zone episode. And,
Okay, your favorite of the trilogy then?
Of the I Am Legend movies?
Yeah.
That's so tough. I think it would probably be Omega Man,
Yeah,
just
me too.
because I've seen it more than the other ones, I think.
Yep.
And there's just like a lot of nostalgia there.
Yes.
And Charlton Heston is awesome in that.
Yes.
He's very Clint Eastwood.
Yep.
You know?
And the colors in
And the
that.
colors.
And like, him driving on him just driving berserk every
Yeah.
time he gets into a car.
Yeah.
There's no one on the planet, right?
Peels out.
He
Yeah.
just is like driving up on curbs and shit for no reason.
That's how the
He's
movie
just-
starts, too.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's just, it's fun.
There's something I just love about that.
Yeah.
And it's Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And nothing against. I mean, Vincent Price is awesome in the
Yeah.
first one, and Will Smith is awesome.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
there's something about that the Heston with the freaking machine.
It's so much more
grease gun.
It's exploitation, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
right,
it's just
right.
whereas the Vincent Price is just much more of a slow burn.
Yeah, big time.
And,
yeah.
But I would say probably the Will Smith one is more closely following the book. you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
But my big beef with the Will Smith one was just the CG.
Yeah.
vampires, you
Me
know?
too. Yep. Yeah, and that sucks because the story is really good.
Oh, yeah.
But you can get distracted by the crappy look how huge their mouth is over and over and over again, right? Like, I got it.
And that's one thing that Omega Man got right, I think, was it's not so much about like, oh, look at these scary monsters. You know?
Exactly.
That's
it's
where they got it
the
wrong.
opposite.
Yeah, it was
right.
like they're just like us,
Yeah.
but they're not us.
Right.
You know, that's what's creepy about it. You know,
Yep.
so they should be played as creepy, not as like, "Rah," you know, jumping out of the shadows at you. I'm a monster. You know?
Right.
That just gets old, you know. But
It does.
but man, the original story.
Yeah. Oh, great.
It's so
great.
It's so great, and it's. I mean, you know, it's so Evil Dead 2 as well. You know?
Man,
It's
right?
Like, it starts with him in
One guy.
in a shed basically, or in like a little rickety house, and he's just got all these gadgets and stuff to keep everybody out. And,
Yep.
And he's really. I mean, he really is like. At least he thinks he is the last man on Earth. You know.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great starting point of any story.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Oh my God, how is he going to get through this? You know.
Yep.
So yeah,
Good
highly
stuff.
recommend that one.
So there we go, people. We
Yeah.
just turned you on to another fantastic trilogy. And as we
Yes.
digress at the end of every episode, but see, it wasn't Stone Cold this time,
Right.
and it wasn't Highlander, and all things Highlander. And what are some? We've had a bunch of good ones. At the end of episodes.
Oh, we still got to see Snake Eater though.
Oh, dang, we
Yeah.
do.
We need some Lorenzo Lamas.
Lorenzo Lamas.
If anyone wants to send a VHS copy of Snake Eater, to
Please
us,
do.
Please do. We'll leave.
my VHS still works.
We'll leave you the address to Movie Madness. and
yes.
You can just call them and say like, hey,
There we go.
They need to rent this movie.
Yeah.
Give us a free gift certificate to Movie Madness.
Actually, I'd be surprised if Movie Madness doesn't have Snake Eater.
I'm
right?
sure they have a Lorenzo Lamas section.
Got to.
There's people right now looking at it. You know, They're
It's right next to Chuck Norris and
Seagal
and Seagal and what's his name, Master of Kung Fu,
Carradine.
Carradine.
Yep.
Yep. In that section.
Yes. Speaking of Carradine,
Yeah.
you know that he did a Tai Chi VHS series
Ooh.
in the late 80s, early 90s, which my
I
dad
didn't
had some
know,
of
but
those.
I would
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just like those yoga fitness tapes, you know, but it was him
Uh-huh.
doing Tai Chi. And
Yep.
there's some things on YouTube that
Oh
are
man.
highly enjoyable to watch.
Yes.
So yeah,
Oh, that guy. Yep.
yeah, he was a trip.
Yes.
You got to love him though, man. He
Oh,
was
dude,
great.
you got to. You
He was
got to.
great.
Yeah.
You can't front on Kung Fu, man.
No.
Even though it should
Can't
have
front
been
on
Bruce Lee.
David Carradine. I
Yeah.
mean, he did. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to make fun of. But
Yeah.
Come on, Ray Bradbury Theater.
Yes.
And Long Riders. I'm telling you.
Dude, those alone is
Just there,
yeah,
that. Start with that.
that's-
Actually, he is particularly good in Long Riders.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times I think it's easy to get hung up on the way he delivers lines.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that kind of aloof and like
Yeah.
he's not really paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Disconnected.
Disconnected delivery, which is good if that character works. But the character that he plays in Long Riders is kind of a Clint Eastwood character, so he doesn't have a whole lot of lines, and he gives very distinct. When he's talking, it's very distinct, right? Kind of
Yeah.
Eastwood-ish, but
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
he's awesome. The knife fight in that movie is worth it alone. Yeah.
See, we have to do our offshoot podcast of neighborhood westerns.
I know it.
So, we just got to, we need to just have more fun.
Well, that'll be funny, right? We'll start our second channel on westerns, and that'll have 10 million
Right.
viewers.
We're like, come on,
Yeah,
come back
horror
to neighborhood
movies.
watch.
Come watch
Everybody's
horror
like,
movies.
No,
No
we want you to
westerns.
talk about Tombstone. Which we could.
More
we
Val
really
Kilmer. We
could.
could.
Oh, man.
We could.
We love that movie, too.
Oh, so good.
Powers Booth.
Powers Booth. Yeah.
And Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn. Oh.
Everybody was in that, man. Kurt Russell.
Bill
Paxton. Sam Elliott.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Dana Delaney.
What's his name?
Jason
Demon Knight.
Priestley.
Jason Priestley. Yeah.
He was good in
what's
that.
the Dead Calm Demon Knight guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Titanic.
Yeah.
He's the villain in that.
Yeah.
What's his name? I'm gaping on it.
Well, the Phantom, right?
Yeah, the Phantom.
Bill.
Yes.
Bill something.
Yep.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
You know who we're talking about, people. We're gaping out here. It's getting late.
Yep.
But yes, Bill. It is Billy something.
Yeah.
And he's really good. And we're sorry, man, if you were happen to listen to this crap.
Yeah.
We really like you.
Yeah.
Especially in Demon Knight, man. That's your best movie. Don't
Oh,
let anyone
dude.
tell you any different.
Yep.
I did pick that for the best 90s horror movie. If anyone listened to our top 5-minute top fives, that was my favorite movie from the 90s.
We still got to
Horror
get
movies.
those up there, too. We got tons more of those that
We
need
do.
to be edited.
We do.
If anyone wants to edit our things, let us know.
Yes, because
We'll
I'm
give
too
to-
stupid to do it, and
Well,
Peter's lazy.
That's not. Yeah, that's okay. We'll take that.
So if you want to work for us for free,
Yeah.
and we'll just have us yell at you about doing it wrong,
Right.
then we'll send you some files.
People are lining up.
They
People are
are.
lining up around
They're
the block.
blowing our email
Yep.
up right now.
Yeah, we need more interns.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. Interns. Yes,
Yeah.
interns.
Yep.
Interns.
Yep.
You feed us, and we'll let you work on our crap.
Yes.
Not the other way
So
around.
send a self-addressed stamped envelope right now
To the neighborhood
to the
watch
neighborhood watch.
at
We'll give you a fake mustache,
Portland, Oregon.
and a degree in accounting.
Yes.
Remember all those ads in comic books?
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Okay, we better get going.
Okay. It's been fun, people.
Yep.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be looking forward to our next episode, which is coming out ASAP.
Very soon.
And we have a whole list of a bunch of good movies for you that'll be coming out soon. Maybe some monsters, some zombies, maybe something.
For sure.
I think we know, but we're not going to tell you.
There's a lot of old standards we still got to hit.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of them.
Yep. So until next time, people, thanks so much for hanging out with us here at the Neighborhood Watch. On behalf of your one and only wonderful co-host, Peter Venkman.
Yes.
And myself, your Dr. K. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.